Hello, and another great day to you. Cheers. So, 100-day challenge, day 16, and gonna do some coloring again today, and try to get these panels as close to done as possible. In my last video, I explained that I'm going to take the reaction panel and the impact panel here, these two, I'm going to tack those on to what I had already finished, and that's going to be a post on Webtoons. I think it's a good place to cut the story. You kind of think of these things in terms of if this was a movie or TV show, where would the cuts be? Where would the scene transitions be? And I think this is a good cliffhanger to end it on. And then we you end with a high, start with a low, and ramp things up again. Some things that I did differently since I enlarged his head here. I did that. I think everything is a little more proportion. I've also tried to be a little bit more organized here. So I got my details layer. This folder is not necessary. Crash scene. So the whole scene is in this folder. And major shapes, details, and then we have the sea urchin back here in the back. I have no idea where those are from. Here. If I need those again, I will draw them in the proper layer. Okay, so I got two layers down here for color. And make those both green. And I'll leave the sea urchin like this. So I've explained this before, I think, in the last color one, but you don't need a flatter with Clip Studio because it has almost basically a flatter built into it. So I'm turning off my detail layer, so I just got my clean shapes. They're not as clean as I should be. Those things are going to give me some trouble. But I'm going to set that. I'm going to click the little lighthouse here, set as reference layer, hit that, and I can come down to my color and start knocking them in. So with the fill bucket tool, let's see. Lousy sea urchin. You go back there. It's got some white pixels in it, and that's why I wasn't seeing what I needed to be seeing. So. And that tells me there's a hole in the shapes. I'm just going to hide the sea urchin altogether. Yep, there's the hole right there. There's another hole somewhere. Okay. Seriously. Don't you hate it when the program makes a liar out of you? There's obviously a leak somewhere here. That I'm not seeing. This tool is not behaving properly. Why you do that? None of this should be happening. Well, somewhere there's a flatter that'll watch this and start laughing maniacally. Nothing can replace them. I just don't get it, because usually this thing works just fine. Okay, so wherever the gap is, I'm not seeing it, but I just gave it an extreme gap fill and ay ay ay. Hello everybody in Pittsburgh land. Hello everybody watching on the IndieVolt app on Roku. This does not make any sense whatsoever. well. Okay. Yes. Stupid thing. It's one of those things you take for granted once you get it first set up and then you don't know to look for it. Now it's working just fine. Click, 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 click. Click, click, click. Sorry to waste your time with there, but hey, you know what? These things are all part of it. This is what I mean about little problem areas. If I'd have drawn it a little bit better, I wouldn't be getting those. And it's just how these settings are set up in the fill bucket tool, where it's looking for adjacent layers. This should have been in the detail layer. All this cross-hatching causes a problem with this tool too. Let's see. Cancel. Don't give me that. Filter. Soak into narrow area. Yeah. Let's try that. Ugh. Yep, as good as it gets. probably remind myself how I colored these guys. So here is previous work. Orange suits, turquoise sash, browns, pinks. Oops, wrong project. Yeah, I believe this guy's good. Yeah, it's kind of a blonde thing. Teeth with that. Coming around, let's take a look at the vehicle. Good tire. the undercarriage. Cool, fun, awesome. Headlamp. It's the headlamp. Breaking apart, whatever that is. Okay, so now I'm going to go into my other color layer and we'll do some background stuff. Which this is a big impact scene, so it's not going to have a whole lot. In fact, I'll just kind of transition. If this was going to flow into this panel, but since it's not anymore, it's not a big deal. I can change that later. I'm going to involve the sea urchin here. Alrighty, so now we start a multiply layer. And we can go in and start doing some initial shading and shadowing. Look at that mess. Little pixels floating around. That's Nice. All right. So I think what I'm going to do for Dinosaur Man is I need to keep separating him somewhat. So I'm going to experiment a little bit and do all of him in there. It's close enough. Actually, you know what would be easier? There we go. So I got another color layer. Fill this with I'll start with blue. I just want to try to set him apart. Maybe not that much. If I don't like that color, I can always hit this little button here to lock all the transparency and try to warm him up. There, that way this tire is popping out a little bit more. I can go in and clean this stuff up a little bit too. Now what I'll do is I'll do some cuts into this to reveal the other color, all the under stuff. And that's really going to help this pop. fading of those cuts. Now I can go into my regular multiply layer and then start doing the normal shadows. I do sincerely apologize by not being live yesterday. A lot of things going on, and it just couldn't happen. I ended up passing out and going to sleep pretty early. Just been running around way too much yesterday. And this whole leg needs to be darker. Now for a highlight, we're going to grab our background flash color and just start popping that in. Give it a little bit. Boom. This isn't going to be near done. What I'm going to do is, once the color is done, I will pop this into Photoshop probably, and because it's a little easier to do it in Photoshop, break some pieces up and put some motion blur. That way we get a real good feeling of an impact going on. This guy will be mostly like the highlight coming up here and here. It'll be shadowed on this side for the most part, because I really want to get that sense of that motion just hitting I'm getting right in there. But so far, I'm liking how this is turning out. You always want to look for ways to bring things and pop them out so that they look more like they're coming at you. The motion blur really helps that. There is motion blur in here, but like I said, it's just a little bit easier to do it in Photoshop at this point. Now, one thing I want to do is I want to do my blender and go over these other multiply areas and just kind of that one. That's the layer. Soften these a bit. Rid of that one entirely. Ooh, boom. Do I like that or not? Too much. A difference. That definitely kind of helps it pop somewhat. So maybe there's a happy balance in between. Let's see. If I duplicate this, set that one to the darken, which I also liked. And then maybe I start bringing it back. And some periods. I want to bring in more of the original part of the head because that still needs to be a little bit more seen. So I think I'm going to do some more up here. Can I get an idea that light is bouncing off of his face, falling into some of the crevices of his tough skin. Something along those lines. modeling it away. Yeah, that's better. All right. Kadoosh. All right, cool. Well, that's going to be a stopping point for this one. We're past time. We're about 48. And so definitely don't want to go over an hour. Try to keep it close to 30 minutes so it's more interesting for people. There's going to be some more stuff will be done on this, probably for tomorrow's episode. Tomorrow's Saturday, and I'm not sure when I'll be able to air, but I will post something on Facebook. It'll probably be a morning episode. Got somewhere to be early in the morning, but when I come back, I could probably do one before having to do the rest of the festivities. So anyway, thank you very much, and have a wonderful day, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.